Are women better at reading people than men?
Women have more of a head start at doing it than men do. Women are socialized, nurtured, to develop soft skills typically far sooner than men are. 7-year-old gets into a fight, comes home crying. What's dad likely to say?
What'd you do?
Or go back and kick his ass, don't ever come home crying again. Be a man, stand up for yourself. Little girl gets into a fight with a boy. Maybe she whoops his ass, which pre-adolescence is pretty likely. She comes home happy that she kicked the little boy's ass. What's mom going to say? Probably, you won't always be bigger than he is. There will come a time when that's not going to work. You need to start learning your soft skills now. So I think women are nurtured to learn soft skills before boys are. At the top end, there's no difference in ability. All you got to learn is to want to be emotionally intuitive. And men can learn that as easily as women can. Women typically have a head start on it.
So in terms of emotional intuition, because I'm pretty interested in the whole dating aspect, like how would you say you can assess or improve your emotional intuition? How do you have some sort of metric where you can say, I am pretty emotionally illiterate?
Well, so first of all, everybody's emotionally illiterate to start out with. There's an interesting book out there, The Talent Code by Daniel Coyle, that contends that everything is learned, that we're all kind of blank slates when we're born. And I'm a definite subscriber to that emotional intelligence. There's no limit to it if you start paying attention to it. So to get to your question, if you feel like you're emotionally illiterate, just pay attention and actually be interested in the other person, and then pay attention to their reactions and continue to be interested. And the more interested you are, the more the more interesting you are. Neil Strauss, a friend of mine, wrote a book called The Game, which is the secret underground society of pickup artists. And so Neil is physically like this geeky guy. He's not a bodybuilder. He's not a handsome dude. Very successful writer, was a very successful Rolling Stone magazine writer. Couldn't get a date. So here's about people that are the underground pickup artist society. Some of them take him under his wing because they say to him, we think you actually like women. Like there are a lot of people that are in this that they don't like women. And God knows what's wrong with them. But there's these goofy guys, and everybody's a goofy guy, that like them. And so here are the secrets to picking up women, according to Neil Strauss, if you really listen to the book. First of all, take a shower. Don't stink. Have good personal hygiene. Secondly, at least wear clothes that match. And wear clothes that might actually look good on you. Learn how to dress. Develop an actual sense of style. And thirdly, actually be interesting. Be able to hold a conversation. Don't be boring. So you want to get laid, be well-groomed, be well-dressed, and be a decent conversationalist. And you'll meet girls. And the majority of guys that can't meet girls, they're like, why should I have to go through all that trouble? But the third kicker on that is actually be interesting. Now, most guys in social situations are not actually interesting. And so, most guys say, well, the good-looking guy gets the girl. Well, from a woman's point of view, if all the guys you talk to are boring, then he might as well be good-looking as a default mechanism, because he ain't going to have anything to say. He's not going to entertain me. He's still going to sit there and stare at the TV on Sunday and not say a word to me. So he might as well be pleasant to look at. So Neil, who's not a tremendously physically attractive dude, goes out and he gets Playboy Playmates phone numbers. He interviews Britney Spears. She connects with him. There's this great clip when he's on Jimmy Kimmel.
I saw that. Yeah.
Was it Jessica Alba, was it?
Neil comes out,
Yeah.
and he's like this goofy guy, wrote the game, and Kimmel's kind of offended by him. You could tell he's even kind of more offended that this goofy looking dude supposedly does well with chicks. And Kimmel starts to make fun of him. So Neil doesn't rise to it. He just turns and starts talking to Jessica Alba. And in a very short period of time, Jessica's ignoring Kimmel to talk to Neil, like completely cut him out. You could see Kimmel's kind of, he's kind of confused as to what's going on. But instead of Neil opposing him, he's just like, you know what? You want to smart off to me? I'll do it right in front of you.
Yeah. Why do you think that book got backlash? Because I remember I read that book. I must have been like 16, 17 years old, maybe 18, somewhere around there, like the mid 2000s, the book came out, the game. But I remember also people really not liking that book and feeling like it was manipulative, or if you have this like strategy, you're not truly being your authentic self, and it all seems kind of contrived, that like, I'm going to do this, or I'm going to throw a neg out there, and then I'm going to talk, they do this. It doesn't have that whimsical magic of just like spontaneity.
Well, who's the backlash from, and did they bother to read the book cover to cover? Because if you read it cover to cover, you find a guy who's struggling to be effective socially and genuinely care about people. And ultimately, at the end of the book, a bunch of people crash and burn around him, and Neil gets tired of the life. And he doesn't crash and burn, and he cares about people. So if you read the book cover to cover and you actually paid attention to what was in it, you react the way that you did. But if you didn't read it, or you just want to criticize it anyway, like, I would imagine that if you read it cover to cover, maybe you still criticize it. But how is it marketed? Mm-hmm. Neil doesn't control how the publisher markets it. And then, of course, what percentage of people that read it criticized it? Like, we give outsized weight to critics when they're in the minority. I'm not going to let them stop me from the positive impact. A friend of mine, Eric Barker, I like giving credit where credit's due. Eric Barker writes a blog that I'm still a subscriber to, Barking Up the Wrong Tree. And he's written 2 books. The first of one, Barking Up the Wrong Tree, The Science of Success. Eric says that for every hater, you're going to have 10 supporters. So don't be scared of the haters. As a matter of fact, the more haters you got, multiply that times 10, you're doing pretty good.
But before we get into that, let's be real here. Being an adult has its high points. You can eat ice cream for dinner. You can play video games whenever you want. You can even eat ice cream while you're playing video games. But in actuality, it's not all fun. You have to do your taxes, figure out what's for dinner every night, and of course, worst of all, schedule doctor's appointments. But at least for that one, there is our sponsor ZocDoc that makes adulting that much easier.
For those unaware, ZocDoc is a free app and website where you could search and compare high-quality, in-network doctors, choose the one that's the right fit for your needs, and then click to instantly book an appointment.
We're talking about in-network appointments with more than 100,000 healthcare providers across every specialty, from mental health to dental health, eye care to skincare, and so much more.
You could filter for doctors who take your health insurance, are located nearby, are a good fit for any medical needs you might have, and who are highly rated by verified patients. You could also see their actual appointment openings, choose the right time for you, and then click to instantly book a visit. Plus, ZocDoc appointments happen fast, typically within just 24 to 72 hours of booking. You could even score same-day appointments.
Seriously, guys, I recommend you try out ZocDoc. It really does make the process of booking appointments that much easier. In fact, I know a lot of people, they get injured or they get sick and they don't even schedule appointments because they think it's more effort than what it's worth. But not with ZocDoc. They really do make it that easy.
So stop putting off those doctor's appointments and go to ZocDoc.com/iced to find and instantly book a top-rated doctor today.
That is ZocDoc.com/iced, ZocDoc.com/iced.
Thank you, ZocDoc, for sponsoring this episode, and now let's get back to the podcast.